So good day, Mr. Michael Almasin. So for today's video, I will be explaining my mini research. So the first question is name of your mini research. So the name of my mini research is Student Perception on Bullying Towards Academic Achievement. Then the question number 2 is what are the facts and information on your research? So learning about the environment that these children grow up in helps to understand how the victim bully cycle takes place. Recognizing that these children who have been labeled bullies are most likely victims of bullying as well is an important factor for more effective interventions of their behaviors. Rose summarizes a study that was done in Finland, explaining that during their adolescence years, bullies are just as likely to be at risk of depression and suicide as victims, and when depression is controlled, it is bullies who have been higher suicide ideation, concluding they are more like victims than previously believed. If the bullying behaviors are not interbed, then some of these children could continue into a life of violence and potentially crime. Ross shows in a longitudinal study that children who bullied at age 8 had 1.4 chance of having a criminal record by age 30. Children who did not bully at age 8 had a 1.20 chance of having a criminal record. Those with criminal records were convicted of crimes ranging petty to serious crimes such as murder. The study also showed that they did not achieve as well academically or professionally. It is also showed that they were socially below the non-bullying group and more abusive to spouse and children. Perpetuating the victim-bully cycle, this study showed that their children were labeled as bullies as well. Showed their children were labeled as bullies. Then the question number 3 is, what is the process of your research? Then my answer is, the result of this initial learning process determines both probability of having access to tertiary education as well as long-term outcomes such as future income. For these reasons, it is essential to understand which factors within schools directly influence the quality of education that students experience and consequently their learning. Bullying, a process in which one person repeatedly uses his superior strength or influence to mistreat, attack, or force another person to do something, is one of the main problems of schools' environment. Example of such behavior include derogatory comments, physical assaults, and social exclusions, where the key factor is the existence of power imbalance between the perpetrator and the victim. It is a serious problem that can affect a child's school's experience and the one that has only recently begun to, to receive attention. Besides affecting the self-esteem of the assaulted, it often results in situations in which both victims and perpetrators miss learning opportunities, diminishing the quality of their education, therefore their academic performance. Number 4. What are the problems that your research is supposed to be answered? So I have 3 problems that we need to be answered. First, what is the impact of bullying on academic performance? So the first research questions explore the impact of bullying on academic performance. Teachers and students in the study reported that bullying in schools creates an insecure environment for students, which negatively impacts the ability to conform to class activities, hence causing poor performance in class. Also, teachers and students mentioned the bullying has adverse effects on the psychology of students and makes them panic and afraid in class, which negatively impacts their school performance. The result and value to the existing by the knowledge that bullying in academic settings is a global problem that affects school performance among students. Bullying in schools Bullying in schools negatively impacts academic performance because it affects the physical, social, psychological, and emotional well-being of students similarly. And emotional well-being of students, the existing literature indicates that bullied students develop fear and low self-confidence, which diminishes the personality traits in schools. Problem number 2. What are the experiences of students about bullying in your school? It's determined whether perpetrators of bullying are also the victims of bullying. Teachers and students reported that practicing bullying in school is conducted by perpetrators and not victims. They are mainly senior students who bully junior students and are also the victims because they believe in having the power of possession or physical strength as some juniors. Teachers and students shared that despite the development of school rules and policies, the, the disciplinary measures, senior students continue with their bullying behaviors. Teachers and students Teachers and students reported that rules and policies do not help in reducing the number of perpetrators. Teachers and students reported that rules and policies do not help in reducing the number of perpetrators of bullying in schools. The study's findings add value to the existing body of literature that perpetrators of bullying are not victims because perpetrators have increased power with the victims. Then the problem number 3, what type of bullying is most common in your school? So the study evaluated the types of bullying which are common in secondary schools. Teachers and students revealed that different types of bullying occur in secondary schools. Teachers and students reported that verbal, social, physical bullying is the main types found in the secondary schools. Teachers and students disclosed that taunting, teasing, name calling, spreading rumors about someone, leaving someone out on purpose, hitting, punching, kicking, pushing, and taking someone's thing occur in class. So, specifically, this study primarily focuses on how academic success is being hindered by bullying and will give interventions to minimize the occurrence of this phenomena. Moreover, it will enable those concerned to know how to deal with the problem of bullying and its obvious consequence on students' academic achievement. Also, it is important to note that bullying within the social system is one of the most underestimated problems in schools, and it occurs at both primary and secondary schools. The principal is the most asset of most schools and has to use all skills available to keep all parties safe from all schools activities, especially bullying. So number 5, what are the positive and negative effects of your research? So, as evidence in the students' loss of concentrations during lectures, schools and homes are not always safe due to bullying. And the act of bullying affects the emotional, social, and physical well-being of a school. Victims of bullying are usually exposed to problems such as emotional, behavioral, psychiatric disorder, and poor or impaired academic performance. At the mental health level, victims of bullying are faced with depression, insomnia, feelings of loneliness, hopelessness, low self-esteem, suicidal ideation, and suicidal attempt. It is important to note that the negative consequences of bullying do not usually end at the incident itself, but often continues to adulthood and can have negative effects on the life of the individual. The results indicate that bullying has a negative impact on all competencies evaluated, that the probability of a lower academic performance increases in environments where there is bullying, and that bullying can affect students with low or high academic achievement in different ways depending on what competency is evaluated. Then the last is conclusion. Based on the findings, bullying is prevalent in schools' campus. Students perceive it to adversely affect their performance in their studies. Victims and bullies are the ones who are greatly affected. Victims have a high tendency to display negative behavior towards their studies. Bullies, on the other hand, are not doing as well in school. They tend to disobey school rules and don't follow school norms. This valuable information is seriously helpful in crafting intervention to help students. Victims and bullies cope with this dilemma in order to improve their academic performance in school. The study explored the impacts of bullying in public and private schools with a focus on academic performance of students. The study indicated that verbal bullying, physical bullying, and social bullying are common in school with negative effects. These bullying behaviors mainly occur within the school environment, just as in class and dormitories when students are on their way home or on their way to school. The study revealed that bullying in schools negatively impacts students' behaviors in terms of behavior and academic performance. The study revealed that bullying results in students developing fear, panic, and disengaging in class activities, which leads to poor academic performance. This study also revealed that perpetrators of bullying are mainly the senior students who bullied their juniors, which result in many students dropping in the school with others changing school.